Look, everybody, we here for a good time, maybe not for a long time. But for those that have shown up, welcome, true believers, to the 68th episode of the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious, the Credible Hulk, Dreams Evangelist, and he who fights his computer daily. Joined as always by Jammy James, the Begrieved, always.
How are we doing?
And today we're joined by a man that needs no introduction, LOLPokemanz, creator of a myriad of animated episodes, even creating his own curly tail cinematic universe within the Dreamiverse. What say ye, sir? Oh no, I didn't hear him.
Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing today?
Doing well. And we will get this show on the road. Thank you, everybody that's come through. And yeah, I know the title says a certain something, but we're going to have a real in-depth heart-to-heart between us and the community on this show today through a myriad of things. But before that, we are not going to take the shine away from LOLPokemanz. So give us the rundown of your journey to dreams and within dreams, Sir Pokemanz.
All right. So I love art. I love creating just nonstop, just ideas, just colliding in my head. Since I was young, I think my first video game ever was Mario Paint. If anybody knows what that is.
God, that's going back.
For those who don't know what it is, it's a Super Nintendo game where you have to plug in this old mouse to the console. It has the ball underneath it, like the old 90s computers, and it's a very primitive version of Dreams almost on the Super Nintendo. You can you play as Mario, and you can make music, you can make paintings, you can make like animations. It gives you I think 8 animation frames to work with. So from a very young age, I was very intrigued in just animation and just storytelling and art and creating and doing everything I can to just keep my mind creative. Loved cartoons, watched way too many cartoons as a kid. Loved SpongeBob. So a lot of my humor and dialogue is very inspired by kind of the dry delivery and just absurdity of SpongeBob, and I like a lot of weird YouTube videos. A lot of that stuff has inspired my work, like Charlie of the Unicorn, stuff like Red versus Blue from who did that? Was that Rooster Teeth? Just just silly nonsense. Just love that stuff. It's not for everybody, but I just love stuff that makes you think like, what did I just watch?
Well,
so that's just kind of my whole agenda, I guess. But with Dreams, I heard about it probably when it was in early access, and kind of put it on my radar. But I agree with you guys that the marketing was absolutely terrible. I didn't even know that it was out until my birthday is in March, so I think it came out in February.
It did, yeah.
And I was at GameStop. I got like a gift card for my birthday or something, and it was in GameStop. I think I had something else in my hand, and then I saw Dreams on the shelf. I'm like, no way, that came out already. So I just fastest decision I think I've made in my whole life, putting back whatever I had. Just taking Dreams up to the counter, bought that, got that started day one, and from there I just create strange animations. I like to make people laugh and just have fun with it. But let me see what else I can. How far do you want me to go into this? I know you wanted to bring up some of my creations, but should I start mentioning some of that stuff now?
I mean, go ahead. That works for me.
So my first first time I tried to make anything in Dreams, like everyone else, I tried to make a game, and I quickly learned how hard it is to make a game.
Yep.
It's very hard to make a game. I thought all those YouTube videos would help me about game development, but turns out
No.
I didn't know I didn't know anything. So I quickly gave that up, and I figured out that I can basically just put a timeline into a scene, and then I can make little animations. Doesn't have to be much, but I can do that. I couldn't make a game. I couldn't do anything with the controller logic, but I could make puppets move, and I could put sound to it, add some music, and I could make a short animation. So I made something called the Sounds of Nature. That it involves two deer, one Benji, the other Martin, and they're just talking. Um, there's not really a plot to it in the first episode. They're just two deer talking about a strange character that made its way into their woods. I didn't really have any sort of uh, goal in mind. I just wanted to see what I could do with the dialogue and see if I could make something funny. And then from there, just maybe make another episode. And I don't plan out anything. I just take what I did in the last episode and expand on it, and create absurd stories.
Well, I do remember that first one. That was with the flying bug creature that was in the woods with them.
So on the surface, it's all that for sure. But I have, I think there's 20 full animations now, that slowly over time I carry elements over into the next story and slowly create my own little universe with the characters. I have them come back from previous episodes, and I try to give it a little bit of a continuity, but I like to kind of think of it as like an organized chaos where a lot of it is just this silly, goofy nonsense, but there are some elements to it that at first don't amount to much, but I have a much bigger project that's gonna really kind of be a culmination of everything I've learned in Dreams and approached in a much different fashion, yet still taking elements and themes and characters from these stories and really telling the best story that I can with that. So I almost want to contrast everything that I've created up until this point and turn that chaos into motivation for the characters to, in a meta sort of way, tell a cohesive story that isn't full of what you're seeing on the screen right now, just jank and um, almost looks like a kindergartner drew with some crayons and turned that into a dream. Just I rush my work a lot. I just kind of try to pump some ideas out. If it works, it works. I just kind of pump it out and work on the next thing.
So, with that in mind, we were talking a little before the show, and I wanted to, like, this may sound like a roundabout way to get to this point, but have you seen like the beginnings of South Park, like how they originally pitched the idea?
Are you talking about like that Christmas episode,
No.
the Santa one? Like that was like the first episode, or no?
Oh no, the first pilot episode, which was like the probe, the alien probe episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I have seen it, it's there is definitely a big difference if you look at that versus South Park now, for sure.
Yeah, they basically made the first animated episode with construction paper. And I bring that up because as you just finished going over, like something I love about your work is that either you aren't worried about certain visual decisions, which is freeing for someone like me who like everything, which is why I'm always complaining about my settings. Everything has to be exactly what I see, or at least as close to as I can pull off, or I can't do it. Like if for instance today, if the stream, like I had a whole bunch of stuff going on earlier today, computer was on the fritz, and I was just like, okay, well, if I can't get this to look how I want it to look and be at the quality I want, then I'll cancel the show. Like, and I'm the same in dreams. It's like it's hard for me to, like, even if I am just sketching with dreams, it's like I still have to have it look a certain way. So like as you've already said, these are leading to something for you, but I guess I like the way you've done it so far, and that you're using some of the base elements of the engine to like add to the comedy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that I'll get to that kind of in a second why I made some of those decisions, but um, a little bit of a backstory to that mindset that I have. A few years ago, I was taking a drawing class at a community college, and it was taught by his name is John Calamy. He was a artist for Marvel in the '90s. Not the most famous artist, but definitely made some real Marvel art that
Yeah, I'm
I
familiar.
was, yeah, like I was hyped to be there, like learning from somebody who was actually there at one of my favorite things in the world. And the one thing that, other than just some other basic skills, the one thing I really learned from that class is something that he actually told me personally when I told him what I wanted to create, or what type of stories I wanted to tell. And he told me that you have to burn to shine. You can't take everything that you want to do at once and just knock it out of the park. You have to learn how to do all the small things at once. So that's the idea I went into this with. I couldn't make a game. I had all these ideas that I wanted to put into a game. I got frustrated that I couldn't do one of the ideas. So I just scrapped the whole thing. And then I remembered what John said to me, and I need to burn. I don't need to shine yet. I need to first of all learn how to use one tool. So like I said, I put a timeline into a scene that I created. It's that first woodland scene that looks like crap. Honestly, like I just threw in some sculpts. Kind of looks like some trees. Could probably cut yourself on those trees, but I was burning. I wasn't planning too far ahead. I had one goal: just learn the tools and see if I can make something that I think is funny, and then put it out there and get some reactions to it. The second episode, I wanted to see if I could make a sequel to that first episode. I went into it with that that goal. I didn't. I already knew how to do the same stuff from the first episode, but how can I take those characters and continue their story? So I feel like I successfully did that, but I wanted to have a cliffhanger and see what I could do with a cliffhanger. So I ended that second episode with a cliffhanger. Seems that they're going to be in some sort of danger. What can I do the third episode? So I go into the third episode. Let's add more characters. I've never done that. I only have two characters and an unnamed voice in the last episode. There's still only two characters. So I added some more characters, added some music, some more sound effects, and it just kind of snowballs till to the fifth episode where I have collaboration voice actors. I have more than just my own voice in this project. I actually sculpted a couple of the buildings that you see in the last episode. So even now, till my last animation, I try to add one thing that I've never done. And slowly, each time I pump something out, I feel that it's getting a little bit better. And I'm able to learn all these tools and then learn of ways to kind of expedite them and almost dethermo my methods here and just see how I can do them quicker so that I can fit them all into almost like the same time frame. So that first episode of The Sounds of Nature that took me probably 2 hours to make one minute of animation with no head movements other than just the characters moving their head this way and the bug is just kind of floating on a I think I used the movement control or whatever that thing is where you can actually like trace the movement. I've never used it since then.
Yeah, the action recorder.
Yeah, that one. Um, but yeah, so like it took me probably like 2 hours to make that 1 minute. Where now 2 hours I'm pumping out like a whole 5 minute animation with voice acting, and it's not done by any means, but just the amount of stuff that I can do in that same time frame really has amplified, and I feel that a year and a half after that, I feel that I'm really kind of I'm a lot better than I was a year and a half ago is what I'm trying to say. Just take it slowly,
Yeah.
burn, and I'm ready to shine at some point, but I'm still learning each tool and each thing that I can do in my own way because I see a lot of things that yeah, maybe it's the right way to do it, but I don't want to do it that way. How can I make it work in my way?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, it's just, then I think the real difference as it comes down between us is the I work on it, but no one will ever see it. Like they're like they'll have because like I did try to break out of my well I have broken out a lot of my hangups when it comes to dreams and like using other people's assets and stuff like that, which is just silly when I think back on it now. But like basically just getting the idea out, like the thing I did with the fly, which is a very simple or incremental lives where the flies are just dying and going through. That was like my version of this tactic you're talking about. But it's like even still with that, it didn't take me very long, but it was still like you know, it still had to look a certain way. Before I would ever, it's like that. It needs to look as clean as possible. And it's just like I said, I love the change because the thing is yours doesn't it. And I'm not trying to shine your shoes right now, but it's not that I don't think yours doesn't look perfect. It's more so that, like you said, you're shooting for something, and the sheer amount of work and ideas that you're putting on, like you're definitely burning, as you were saying, you're definitely burning. And at the end of the day, I mean, all you really need is just the concept. You need for the idea of it to get across. So, I like I said, I love the work. I love it, and I'm also would like to take a moment to say thank you for even coming to me to voice characters in it. So, yeah.
Oh,
Th-
definitely, man. Sorry to do your character dirty in the last one.
I mean,
um,
I don't
I
have any hangups.
I like I said, there the Shine project that I have in store, that is something that will carry over to that once I get there. I don't like I said, I don't necessarily plan ahead of what I'm going to do. I leave a lot of loose ends to play around with and think that like, okay, this happened to this person. What can happen in the future once I get there? I don't like to write this whole saga that I'm working on ahead of time. I like to just get to a nice endpoint that I'm kind of at now with my creations and almost in a way like reboot everything to kind of condense everything. I want to tell a whole story that you don't necessarily need to see all 20 of my animations to understand, but given one creation that involves all these stories, you can kind of pick up the context a little bit.
You're truly a student of Marvel Comics and not DC.
Marvel, DC, but yeah, totally, man.
Bro, see, that's the
I'm
thing.
not
Like
trying to hide it at all. I
Marvel,
absolutely.
yeah, Marvel has no problem just rebooting and condensing everything down. Whereas you read like a DC comic book and they have like little asterisk in boxes like check out this book from 40 years ago before you were
Right.
born to get the context that you need. And it's like, whoa, man, ain't nobody going back there to look at that. Like it's
That's something
crazy.
I've actually like tried experimenting with some of my stuff. I've had a couple of my animations start off with like a previously on segment, and it clips down scenes from not necessarily the most recent movie, but stuff that is context to what you're viewing, and gives you information as to what you need to know for that episode. It doesn't totally highlight everything that has happened, but for example, one of the movies that I do this for, there is a little bit of a theme that plays throughout the episode that I don't really explain in the episode. It's something that as the viewer at this point you really should have seen some of the other stuff if you are going to be watching this. I leave it in the description, everything, like, you're not going to know what's happening if you haven't seen this stuff. But if you do want to watch it, this is what happened before and this is what you need to know. But good luck. Like if you haven't seen some of the other stuff, I'm sorry, it's not. You got to go watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Get out there
Right.
and
Like
get out
I
there and
know
take that
I know
good
that's
stuff in your
not
eyeballs.
everybody's favorite thing. Sometimes I have had some kind of pushback on that, criticism on that. Nothing that I am heated about or want to get into, but I just know it's not an ideal approach to dreams necessarily. But I have a lot of fun doing it.
And that's ultimately what it's about, though,
That's
isn't
all
it?
that matters
It's
to
all that
me.
matters. As long as you're having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing, that's the main thing. Everything else comes second.
And you said you had an announcement, or did you want to make an announcement?
Yeah. Well, I guess I could make it now. I guess I could make it now. Because I think Beard of Cats put out a tweet already, maybe, about Dreams Fest 22 is
Yep.
definitely happening.
Yep.
Excited to at least bring that up. I can't really go too much into it other than it is happening. We hope to see a lot of contribution from the community this year. Very exciting stuff. From that, we got some new team members to help us out. Hoping to make it a much bigger experience this year.
It was
Wow,
very
that's saying something.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun to be tapped for the Voice of North America. So hopefully I'll get to do that again. But if not, I'll just be in the crowd like everyone else, taking in the vibes, taking in the vibes.
It's incredible though that you guys want to make it bigger than before, because I was not
Let
expecting.
me rephrase that. Sorry, my camera froze. Are we all good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we good. Let me rephrase that. We want to make it better for sure. We want to definitely deliver on a good sequel, because we know just how much fun everybody had creating and seeing their own stuff in the last one. We're working on a lot of ways to expand that experience and make make a true follow up that feels like a true sequel.
Well, I really look forward to it because the first one was absolutely fantastic and it blew my mind. It was far more superior than what I thought it was going to be. I thought, okay, there's going to be like a stage and there's going to be like songs and stuff that people's brought in, but you did the whole globe. Like, you had to travel to all these different locations, and
That is all on the logic and
it's
the design
insane.
team. They did a fantastic job. I'm not going to
Absolutely
pretend
insane.
to take any of that credit because I couldn't even come close to doing any of that stuff. When I went into I think it was Africa or South America for the first time during development, I told them like this is some of the best scenery I've even seen in Dreams. It's just outstanding, and the way that they made the logic work, and it really truly feels like you're at a festival,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm all about. I love immersive content like that where you can just hop in and you feel like you're truly doing something, like you're at the festival. You can go see like an actual set. You can walk around the crowd and put your lighter up. That's this They had some insane ideas that they really got to work in wonderful ways.
Like one of my favorite features was the fact that you changed your outfit in the toilets, like those pop-up toilets that you have at events. Like that was just so like perfectly thought out.
Hmm.
Everything was just definitely done by people that love music festivals. You can really see that it was designed by people that just love a good festival, because everything was just completely spot on. It was brilliant. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the follow-up to that.
Disobey Games, who is on Team Dreams Fest, he's in the chat. He says I can say a little bit more if I want to maybe tease the location. I'm actually not going to do that because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't trust myself. So for sure, check out his tweet, Beard of Cats. I know Disobey's been hyping it up too. Check out their social media for information for sure.
Awesome. Is there anything else you would like to go into before we get into the big
Big one.
the big the big topics? Are there any, I guess, thoughts, because you said you've listened to the podcast quite a bit and that you had some takes on things. Well, did you want to do that before the big topic or after?
I kind of already mentioned it at the beginning here, but I have always wanted to tell you guys that I totally agree. The marketing needs to step up its game,
Oh
100%.
boy, yeah.
Like the amount of people that it's been said before, but people got to see that it's not just a PlayStation game that you're making other little PlayStation games on. You're working with an art studio. You're creating literally anything that you want to a reasonable degree, while also having basically an entire library of games at your disposal. It reminds me a lot of remember those like Flash websites back in the day, like
Newgrounds, yeah.
newgrounds.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it
Mini
reminds
clip,
me of
yeah.
that. That's one of the biggest things that kind of drew me into it, is that you really just have all these different creators just putting their vision out, and you can just play or watch anything that they're putting out. You can find people that you really vibe with and subscribe to their content. There are definitely some dreamers out there that I love their stuff, and I love seeing their new stuff pop up on my timeline. Um, it's great. I really wish that they would get some more marketing going for that. I know that there's that whole 10-year plan, but we gotta get more people in here.
I'm hoping that it's part of the 10-year plan, because if it's not, I'm going to be knocking on Sony's door within the next 2 years. And I'll be like, I'm going to do it for free for you. You don't even need to pay me. Just let me walk into that marketing room and tell them what's up.
I mean, you gotta love the cojones on this guy right here.
Seriously,
let me come
if
in
they
and
ain't
fix all
gonna
your
do it,
problems.
someone's got to do it, and I'm more than willing. I mean, I live in the UK. London is not a far drive for me to go to HQ and tell them what's wrong. Don't worry.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll get to the topic at hand.
The juicy one.
All right. So
Yeah.
I want to. We did this a little bit last year, or when this last came around, but I've just been seeing a lot of stuff. So there's like two topics I want to get into. The first one, which is the title of this episode, which is "Should the Impies Exist?" Like,
Yes.
well, this is, and the reason I say this is because, like, we've had people express their disappointments for not being chosen, not making the short list, feeling betrayed for all their hard work. And some of this is stuff that we talked about last time because we kind of had a roundtable specifically about this the last time we talked about it. And like we've seen people come in saying like, get over it, stop whining. We've seen people come in and be like, hey, people feel how they feel. It's, you know, stuff like that. And it all comes down to like, I think the community needs to decide whether or not they want to have the Impies. I see it as a gift, like a gift that doesn't have to be given by Media Molecule, but like a show of love to all those who like continue to create within Dreams. And everybody loves validation. And, you know, this may not mean much coming from someone who was nominated for this show, but like, even though we've literally no shot at in winning an Impy.
no chance at all. The people we're going against, like,
I just want people to know, like, you're valid. Like, your creations are validated. Like, I've seen people in the past who have thousands and thousands of plays and thumbs up, still disappointed come Impy time. Like, still not have very kind words to put out within social media. And of course, there are people on the other side of the equation whose creations have gotten no love. Like, whether it be because they, you know, haven't created the social media footprint or you know, or they got buried by a meme. You know, you're all valid. But with everyone's thoughts being valid on this, should there be a thing? Because I have to, the only thing I can see resulting from the negative aspects of the conversation being made is that it gets taken away. Because that's the only answer you can have. Like, if it creates such an uproar every time it happens that, you know, the press you get is negative. I mean, you know that's when the people who normally don't talk about Dreams when they should will probably come in and ruin everything by putting it out there. But like, it just feels like there's like we need to have a real conversation. And I mean, I trust him to take whatever we say and let it go. Like, because of course they're monitoring like all of this stuff. They see it, but like, should there be, or should it just be, you know?
The way I see it is, and I try to follow anybody and everybody on Dreams. I do a weekly search, you know, to make sure I'm following as many people on Dreams as possible. And from what I've seen since the nomination stream was done, is that there is some negative stuff. There is people that are saying, you know, that they wish they would have got nominated, and there's been some really negative people as well that I've seen recently. But that's always overdrenched by the positive. There is always a much higher positive for the MPs than there is the negative. And no matter what you do, there's going to be negative towards anything, whether that be Dreams or a new game that releases or whatever. There's always going to be a balance of negative and positive. That's just the world we live in. But from what I see, it's always more positive than negative. There is always going to be people that are going to be upset about something. I find the MPs to be Media Molecule's way of celebrating the community and everything that's been built in that year, and just giving appreciation towards the best of the best. And there is creations that are better than others, and you know, there is people that do deserve an award that don't get nominated, but it's just life, you know. Not everybody can win an award, and that doesn't mean that you're not a good creator because you haven't got one. You know, I think we need to be adults about the situation here and not be babies like, oh, I never got an award, like I'm not going to continue using Dreams. Well, you never came to Dreams in the first place to win an award, so why are you upset that you haven't got one? Like, I just don't get the whole thing with it. It's just an award that a game developer is giving you to say thanks for building something on their platform. It's not like a BAFTA or, you know, or anything like that. It's just deal with it, really. I think it's fantastic that they do this. They take the time out of their development schedule to do this every year for us. They get no benefit from it. They do it to celebrate us. And I just find it fantastic that a developer actually takes their time out of their development schedule to do something like this. And every year it's always been bigger and better, and this year is no different. Like they spend months and months on this stuff to make it good for us. And I don't want to see that go away because I just love that we have this relationship with Media Molecule where we build all the stuff and they appreciate it and do the impies for us and things. I think it's fantastic. I think everybody that's complaining about awards and stuff just need to grow up really and be a bit adultish about it.
I think it also partially comes down to the way people promote their own stuff sometimes too. There's not really one way to do it. You got people on Twitter who are directly communicating with Media Molecule, and you've got people on the other side of this thing posting stuff maybe on Reddit or something, getting buried in all totally different social media platforms. Maybe if there was one, like an app or anything where everything could be submitted to be viewed all in one social media, it might give more chance to some of these creators. I feel like there's a little bit of an uneven footing when it comes to the way people self promote.
I mean, like I said, I think both of you have pretty much nailed it. Like, I want it to be a thing. Like, just because I posed the question doesn't mean that I'm saying, like, oh, we should get rid of it. But, like, I see equal positive and negative, and maybe that's just because of the times I tune into Twitter. And you come in at the right moment, and you got a whole thread to go through. But yeah, like I think it definitely should be a thing, and I think that it's something like I said, it's a gift from the developer to
What other
us, to the
developers
community.
do anything even like close to this? Like other like game developers, at least. I know that there's a lot of like I think maybe Blender does something like that, some sort of award for different jams that they do. But like, what other game developer gives you the chance to win a trophy for just enjoying your
Yeah,
time
for
with their
just
product?
doing what you want to do on the platform. Like I think the people that are upset about it need to also understand that, like, this is dreams. This, you come into this to create, and that should always be your end goal. If you're coming in to create something, to say, okay, I'm going to make something to win an Impy award, it's not what it's about. You should create for creation's sake because you love to create, and if you get an award for it, then so be it. And if you don't, you don't. That's fine too. It's just all about creating on this platform and sharing with others and collaborating and being in a space with like-minded people. Like that's the whole point of dreams. And I can understand how the Impies can create tension every year because people have put hours and hours into their creations and want some validation for it. But I would say that, at least in my experience from different creation platforms that I've tried, you get far more validation every single day on Dreams than anywhere else. Like I've tried different engines, I've tried different community projects and stuff, and nothing in my experience has come close to the validation you get for your stuff than you do on Dreams every single day. Like I look through the comments of games that I play and stuff, and it's just nothing but praise and constructive criticism and guidance and collaboration. Like I just don't see this type of communicative joy anywhere else, and that's what Dreams is all about. And just remember the thing that you came to Dreams for in the first place.
Well, I
Just
guess I
just
guess
having fun.
y-
It's
yeah.
that's really at its core. It's not for everybody, for sure. It's not something that you can get any PlayStation gamer to enjoy. But if you have just like a sense for just collaboration and you want to create something and you don't necessarily want to break your back doing it, you just want to put something out there, it's a great entry point no matter how old you are, your experience with the medium. You could, if you come in here all you know how to do is draw with a pencil, you can still create something that you never knew was possible before.
And just to add to the whole MP side of things, like, Media Multiple is trying something new this year, right? Where you self-nominate, you put yourself forward for an award. Like, that proves to me that they're trying to find still the best way to do this. Like, they're trying to find the formula that works, where it's fair and it's equal and whatever. And they're still working on it. Like, don't forget, Dreams is still in its early stages, and they're trying to do so much so early. Like with Impy's, like, I didn't think this would even be a thing, and if it were a thing, I'd think like, okay, then maybe this will happen 5 years into Dreams life cycle. Like, give it time to grow and stuff. But they're doing this every year whilst they're still growing themselves and figuring out what they can do with Dreams. And they're changing the way they're doing it this year, and it just shows that they're just trying to find the right formula for it. And like I said, you're always going to have positives, you're always going to have negatives, but I think the Impy should stay. I think it's a great communicative event. It's a celebration of Dreams and everything that happened that year. And sure, not everything's going to get shown, but how are you going to show everything that's in Dreams? I mean, if you log on to Dreams every day, there's like hundreds of new things to look at and play and listen to and watch. It would be impossible to validate everybody's creation.
Well, with that, I guess, I mean, yeah. Can we also just have a moment of appreciation for Media Molecule? Because those, I mean, just the short list alone, if like, think of how many submissions they got. I mean, wow. Like, how do you even
How
make
much
a
time?
list?
Like, how much
Yeah.
time went into actually like breaking that down and making a compiled list of, okay, this is the short list. Like, just imagine how much time that would have took alone just to do that. Forget actually making the show and everything else, all the animations that they're going to be doing, all the scenes and everything, the live stream. Like, so much effort goes into this, but just the short list alone, like how much work that would take. Like, just remember, this is all for us.
And they get like big name like game developers and stuff to do
Yeah.
the short list, right? I think like didn't Todd Howard do it a couple of years ago? The guy from Bethesda?
I don't recall.
I swear I heard that he was involved with one of the Impy shortlists one year. I could be wrong, but like if they're still getting these, big name game developers to do these things, they should maybe be promoting that on their side too. Let people know that they're getting involved with this thing, and maybe more people would be open to, getting Dreams and checking it out. I think for sure the Impys are a great way to both encourage more creation and just get Dreams out there. It happens every year, so they put so much work into it that there's no reason that they really shouldn't stop doing it. It's fantastic every year when they do it.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I just posed the question because there's only one other option, and that's not having it. And I just, you know, the negative always sells more, and more people jump on board it. And so whenever I hear negatives start being thrown around, I'm like, there's only one way to stop it, because just being like, doesn't cross people very well. if they felt disregarded, they feel it even more then. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I said, I agree. I agree with you guys. And we're going to get into one more topic of that in a moment, because I think it kind of spreads off of this idea. But are we? Have we? Oh, I wanted to check with the chat. Do y'all like being that your chat is being included into the stream when we're in this?
Oh,
when we're
I've
in
only
this
just
forum?
noticed that.
Like,
Is it not normally?
no,
No.
like
No,
I've done it
that's new.
I've done it a few times trying to figure out how to make it look right. And and I couldn't do it. It was messing with my settings. And so I was just like, okay, well, let me see, being that I've made the cameras bigger, it's not the same format, put it into the 4 squares, like, or rectangles, like, how does it look? And so yeah, people can OLED. So yeah, this gives it so that even though we may not always keep up with chat, I am reading it. And this allows it to be out there for people to come by and discuss when we put it up on, YouTube and stuff. So yeah. Hope y'all are enjoying it. The next topic, which I let me take a moment because Jamie, I'm just rolling on. Okay. I'm just rolling with it right now. Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good with the Impy discussions. I really like talking about it because I think, like you said, it needs to be talked about. And if anybody has any opinions about the Impys in chat, please bring them forward. I think it's a really important conversation to have, and because there is a lot of talk about it online, and this is a great position where those opinions can be let out and discussed.
Yeah. So with that, let's go into the next topic. I try, listen, guys, I know that we're going to be beating a dead horse, but we're going to talk multiplayer for one more chance. Okay? Look, we're going to do it one more time. Because I can't ignore how often this comes up on Twitter, YouTube, and now on Discord. Our Discord. And so I want to address first the sentiment I'm getting, because I think it's important to talk about it. But people are feeling let down by how long it's taking to get multiplayer. And they've even voiced it within our Discord as Media Molecule not being transparent, like as a negative. It's a huge damnation levied against many studios in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So like I feel like it has to be talked about, because I, for one, feel like Media Molecule is the most transparent company that there's ever been. Like, easily reachable on Twitter. Like, if you message someone from Media Molecule, they will comment back to you. Like, I can't think of transparency.
You had them on
that.
your podcast.
Yeah, like, I mean,
multiple times.
I mean, let's be real. They have been on this podcast, multiple molecules, and they literally have no obligation to do anything for us, because we're nobodies, okay?
They're doing it in their spare time, like when they get home from a long day of work. They're just doing it in their house just because they love the community that they have built with this game. Like, what other developer would do that? Like, I don't know any of it. It would take months and months of badgering to get someone on a show like this. Like,
they probably want nothing more than to announce multiplayer. Like, for real, they would. That's all they want to do, but they can't tell us anything until it's 100% ready, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't really know much. But that's probably one of the hardest things to do with video games, let alone creating your own video games on another video game. It's going to be hard, and if there's any sort of hiccups with that, that's only going to give them more backlash. So 100%. They got to wait until it's 100% done, and those who stick around will still be around, and then there's going to be a whole nother push, hopefully, with the marketing once they get that multiplayer out. That's what I'm hoping for this whole time, is that they're waiting for everything to be 100% done. Get the dedicated creators who don't care for that to make some content right now, and then once that multiplayer is ready, they have I don't even know what kind of gadgets you would even use for that. Like, they've got to conceptualize all that stuff, figure all that stuff out, and then once that's all good, I'm sure that there'll be another push for Dreams. It's got multiplayer now. It's got a whole plethora of single player stuff that you are already able to play. You've got literal cinematic universes to watch. You've got everything that you already need, and now you can do it online.
And so with that, it's just like, I don't like the sentiment hanging around my church. So as always, the Dreams Evangelist wishes to talk to the people. And I'm going to bring a new angle. Just a new angle, just a hypothetical, because I do want to get back to that point of what even is multiplayer when it comes to Dreams. Like, so,
Oh
like,
yeah, I
because
have a lot of ideas.
yeah, that's a whole lot of stuff to deal with just alone, and we can get into that. But so far, we've seen PlayStation acquire studios for specific purposes. We've seen them pick up studios that specialize in remakes. We've seen them pick up studios that specialize in PC ports. And with the latest acquisition of Bungie, I'm wondering.
I knew you was going to bring this up.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Hear me out. Is the Bungie acquisition, which PlayStation has stated is to boast its games as a service and multiplayer game base, have anything to do with Dreams? Because I've been reading the statements put out by Sony, and like we've seen all these acquisitions, and I know that yes, there are studios that do multiplayer or have done multiplayer, but pretty much Sony's answer to everything that's been coming out recently has been, we need to shore up some of the holes in our offerings. And that's kind of been the play forward. So, I mean,
as much as I would like your sentiment to be true, that it's centralized around Dreams, I really do not see it at all. Like they want to just rip into the games as a service branch. They want their multiplayer shooters. They want their Destiny type games.
Yep, that's all they want. I think.
Yeah, they want their money.
They want that Bungie, that big Bungie dollar.
Yeah, Dreams is probably not even on the list, and if it is, it's right at the bottom. Like it's not even feasible at this point. The way that I think Sony's looking at it is they've pretty much maxed out how much money they can make on a single player experience. Like they know that 20 million is like pretty much that's it. That's as far as they're going to get right now. So in order to make more money, they need to branch into a new type of gaming, and the one place where they really fail at right now is multiplayer. And I think that's the whole reason why they bought Bungie, is to help them at their shortcomings, to show these studios how to build a successful multiplayer game so that they can start earning the big money to branch over that 20 million bar that they currently have. It's all about the big bucks. Dreams is not even on the list, in my opinion, at least anyway.
Well, I don't want to
make Destiny good, like a good version of Destiny, like what we thought it was going to be before it came out. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I thought Destiny was a little lackluster. That was Bungie, right?
Yeah. So, like I said, it's just I look at the specifics, like the fact that the retention 1.2 billion on the buying price and stuff like that. Like, I don't think they're bringing them in specifically to work on Dreams multiplayer. Like, that's not at all what I'm trying to say. But I feel like if you look at who within the PlayStation stable has really done multiplayer, like really done it, you really have like maybe two companies. And both of them have their own tentpole like franchises now that they have to continue going, like moving with. You know, you have Guerrilla, which the last time they did it was Killzone, and that was a battle arena, you know, thing. I loved Killzone, by the way. Killzone 2, I thought was some of the hottest stuff. The staple gun, where you could actually staple your the enemy's hand to the wall so that they couldn't like pull up their gun. Just little details like that. Amazing. But they're not gonna not work on the next, you know, Horizon to like help build a multiplayer or to assist in building a multiplayer with the expertise. Same thing goes for Naughty Dog. Like, we already know they're working on a big multiplayer thing that didn't launch with Last of Us 2, and they're still working on that. So
But
I
that's where
just
it
feel
lies,
like it
though,
would
isn't
be
it?
something that could be brought in to help because all the studios help. I mean, Media Molecule helped on the first Uncharted. I don't know if anyone saw that post I made on Twitter, but I replayed through Uncharted 1 and Media Molecule was there. And I was like, wait, what? It- so
But
yeah,
you've
I'm
you've
just saying.
mentioned that, and that pretty much explains the whole reason for this buy. Like you just said, like Naughty Dog has been making this multiplayer expansion for The Last of Us 2 since its launch. Like, look how long The Last of Us 2 has been out. And what that clearly shows is that obviously Naughty Dog has no online multiplayer experience. That's why it's taken so long to get this thing out, because they don't have the expertise in that area. They create narrative driven story experiences like the majority of PlayStation studios. That's their bread and butter. So they need the Bungie employees to come in and send a bunch of them to Naughty Dog to say, okay, let's see what you've done. Okay, here's what you've done wrong. This is what you need to do to make it go right. We know what we're doing. We've made Destiny. It's successful. Whether people like it or not, this is how you fix it. And that's what they've bought them for, is to help them in their shortcomings, because they just don't have the experience in these areas.
So while you said you disagreed with me and that I'm full of it, you just basically said
No, no.
exactly my pitch for
Yes,
why it
but-
could be.
But not
Like,
for Dreams, though. But not for Dreams.
if you have the team to help out with like Naughty Dog's multiplayer, why wouldn't you use it for Dreams as well?
Because
Like, if it's at all being used at all. Like, I know how it sounds, but at the same time, it's like, if you're gonna send people over to talk with, or to basically help mold out things, like, I can't think of a more difficult project to do multiplayer for than Dreams.
Yeah, I mean, don't
Like,
get me
all
wrong.
the help would be very much needed.
Don't get me wrong. It's highly on the cards that they could send some Bungie people over to help them with the multiplayer. Like, it's definitely not off the cards. It's totally feasible to say that that might happen. But, PlayStation just announced that they intend to create 10 games as a service games by March 2026. I think, that 1.2 in retention rate is going to be spent to make all of that happen.
I say Dreams could be one of those. First of all, we know the PR jargon. All right. It's like last year where they were at E3, or the E3 was going on, or whatever they had at the moment. They were like, we're going to have 40 new IPs in the next year. And it's like, most of them were like pieces of other bigger ones that were coming out. So it's like, we know the jargon. If we had this re-release, this remarket, blah, 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 blah. Like, if we had that, then it could be sold as a new thing. Like, So all I'm saying is, I was met with a lot of disregard when I brought up my idea, and then you went and then tried to make it so it was like, you were like, yeah, but they help blah blah blah, not Media Molecule. Why?
Yeah. The reason I say that is because I'm trying to look at this from the perception of a Sony person in a suit that's thinking about the highest return on investment. And the easiest way to get that ROI is to create a shooter, or a Destiny type game. Traditional multiplayer is where they're going to quickly get back the investment that they've put in. Something like Dreams is an on the side project. It's experimental. We'll keep funding it and keep it going because it's good for our look and everything that we do as a company. But as far as actual money's concerned, no, we need to push out these big multiplayer games first so we get the money rolling in. At the end of the day, Sony is a business, and they're going to look at what is going to earn them the most money the most quickly. It's just
I agree, 100%. I don't think that, if anything, they might like Jamie said, like, definitely not Dreams. They might send some people over to Naughty Dog or any of the other studios. I personally think they're gonna go nowhere. They're gonna be Bungie as is and try to make the next Halo killer or whatever they want to do for multiplayer. Maybe a few people here and there might go to other studios for slightly related reasons, but I really don't think there's going to be much change to Bungie.
Well, I see the negativity going on. I'm just playing. I'll just play it. Like, I just don't, for me, I really started thinking of what multiplayer could be. And we've talked about it before, but never from this angle. Because, like, first and foremost, as I've brought up before, you have to look at the fact that, I mean, I don't know how many employees Bungie has, but when all this stuff was getting started and when they first brought up the idea of multiplayer in Dreams, they had 40 people working at Media Molecule. And so, like, I still remember looking at the website and being like, wait, there's only 40 people in this studio? Which made everything infinitely even more outstanding. But I don't know. It's like, if you have the resources and the Destiny team, which was set up during Activision, like the team that works on Destiny and the rest of Bungie are like two separate teams now. Like and they have the ability to do that and still have their main workforce work on other things. Like I said, I just don't see why it would.
See, I love your optimism.
It's only
so
optimism
much.
because as the evangelist, the Dreams evangelist, I have to be out here putting forward the good word. Okay, like
I love it.
I just feel like that would be that's like it's like getting someone like Bungie that's so multiplayer.
Yes, their heart and soul.
Yeah, see, I feel like if they got like one person over to just help, because like I said, what is multiplayer for Dreams? Is multiplayer for Dreams just a multiplayer for playing games? Like games can be made.
No.
See, you say no, but you don't know. And see,
you see, I think that if Media Molecule of all people are going to do multiplayer, they're going to want to integrate multiplayer into dream shaping as well as playing games. Like, I think that's probably more important as important as adding the ability to play games with other people. I think being able to collaborate live in dream shaping is probably something that they're looking at as well, because it's Media Molecule. They completely think outside of the box of everything they do, and there is definitely no chance that this has not been brought up in their talks. I think they're going all out with multiplayer, like adding it to every aspect of the game.
But that in itself could be a pitfall, because it becomes what's possible. And I always have to go back to my thing where it's like, yeah, it's outside of the box. There's ways, but there's ways the bubble bath engine works. Now, mind you, what's up, piece of craft? Yeah. See, I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff. So like, I don't know what it takes to build multiplayer. I don't know I don't know if the bubble bath engine started out as being even like, yeah, I would think they would have like, yeah, we could do this multiplayer, but at the same time, I mean, maybe they didn't, because they didn't know until maybe the final year that they would actually be able to pull Dreams off. As we always talk about how it's amazing that something like this even exists. And just the idea of trying to think of how it had to be built is amazing, like and befuddling. But I feel like, I don't know, like I just don't know what it could be, but what all of it could encompass, because I think everybody imagines this beautiful multiplayer utopia where it's like, I'm in the same file with someone else and we're all working together and one guy's doing logic and I slap him on the butt and I'm like, good job, bro. And then I go over here and one dude's painting in the corner. Like, I mean, I feel like that's what people are thinking, but I don't know if that's what it could be, given what the bubble bath engine is right now, which is why I always talk about that 10-year plan. It's like, you know, I do think another version of the bubble bath engine is coming. I think that the next the official PS5 update for Dreams is going to be like an overhaul of like them, all the things that they've been trying to implement and even things that they couldn't implement based off of the old technology and what the bubble bath engine was, like I see it growing exponentially, not just over the years, but in the next year. So I don't know.
No, you
It's
see,
just could it be under, like if it's undershot, people are going to be even more upset, and it's just like there's a
I have
we'll
full faith.
see.
I have full faith.
Me too.
If it was any other developer, I would be like, yeah, they're probably gonna just add normal multiplayer in, and that's gonna be it. But I don't know. With Media Molecule, I just think completely differently. I think that they're gonna go all out with it, and maybe they'll split it in half, and they'll do dream shaping, like 1 point, and then just so you can add it to your current games that you've made, and then the whole collaborating together live multiplayer will come later or something. That they could do something like that, but I definitely think that they're gonna go all out with it. And if the bubble bath engine has to be changed to allow for that to happen, I think they can do it. I mean, they made Dreams happen, which to me is impossible anyway. So what else could they possibly do? I just think they can do anything. If as long as they have enough time, they can make it happen.
I mean, I'm a believer as well. It's like I said, it's just those sentiments that I was talking about, like people taking things as personal attacks against their creative juices. Like it's just all that stuff is just like it's out there in the ether, and when it's in the ether, Big Daddy got to talk about it. So I mean, it's just like Dreams, it's just the culmination of all these thoughts and where it ends up. And that's intriguing to me. And,
Whatever we get,
yeah.
and whenever we get it, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like, can't complain.
I'm liking what some of the people are saying in chat. RJ Smith says dream shaping multiplayer would be good for like teaching others and showing others just how maybe certain logic works. Somebody else said that it would be kind of no other practical use other than just being a gimmick, which I slightly agree with that, but I really think it would be great for teaching others. It's because one of the hardest things with dreams is translating what you hear, what you see, into actually understanding how something will work. A lot of people get stopped at the logic because it doesn't work out the way they want it to. They can't take what they're seeing on the YouTube video and do it themselves. Sometimes they will need somebody actually right there showing them how to do something in real time. And I think that would be great for that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I mean, I kind of want to, because Insane Alpha Beta said just because you can't think of what that practicality is doesn't mean it doesn't exist, responding to others in chat. And I do want to say that I do think that's very valid, because and where the thinking outside of the box from Media Molecule is going to really play a very good point is because Dreams, if nothing else, has shown that when given the tools, our community alone will create ways to make anything work. Like, and when I say our community, because I am a part of it, but like when you see the things that people are doing logic based, with what people are doing, like using Flex for, and how they can basically blow my mind daily on things that they're doing that nobody else had done. And then everybody being like, how did you do that? And then they spread it. And then someone that they spread that knowledge to comes back in a month. And it's like, well, I figured out you could do this. So it's like, it like multiplayer, like it's just, yeah, it's insane. Like I do say that it probably have to be ironed out, because I don't think multiplayer is going to be as simple as like a gadget that people can mess with. It's like, I want it to be multiplayer, stamp.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like that's another thing. Like, it's okay, Media Molecule creating the tools for the back end for multiplayer to work. You have to create the tools for the creator themselves to implement it into their game. Like, that's a whole other thing in itself. Like, how do you make it as simple as possible for a creator to implement multiplayer into their game? Like, it's just crazy just to think of how technical this goes once you really start to granulate it down to its core. So I can understand why it's taken so long for it to come out, because it must be an absolute headache to try and figure all this stuff out to make it as simplistic as possible for the end player.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to go into that because just thinking of what it could be, you know, thinking about when I'm gonna get my update so that I can have a. You know what? I think they found a way around giving me shape opacity. I think that's what
Okay.
I think that's what Bake to Paint is trying to address. So if you could take that like a
Mm.
sphere and then turn it into paint and then make it so it's like you address the opacity slider that way, I think they're trying to be tricky. I think they're trying to fix my
Yeah.
problems. Okay. No.
Outside of the box thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I love it. I love it. So anyway, I'm just saying. I really do have to thank you guys. It's been a real trying last 6 months for me, and things stressed out of my mind. If you can't tell by my eyes, if you haven't smelled my eyes lately, but yeah, like being in this good of a mood as opposed to 2 hours ago, being ready to make my bald spot bigger. I just, I'm really feeling at a great, just much better right now. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody in chat and all the people that follow, all the people that subscribe.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I want to add to that.
Yeah.
Like, this show every Friday, just like Fridays are always super busy for me and super stressful. And just coming on this show at the end of the day and just being able to talk about the thing that we all love together is just so, so nice. It's just so therapeutic, and everybody's always engaging in chat and bringing up conversation and different topics and stuff. And yeah, thank you to everybody that comes to the show. Seriously, it is so nice to have this space once a week to just come to and just talk to you all about everything dreams. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
I definitely love listening to you guys every week. I'm sure I speak for a lot of the people in chat here too. You guys do a killer job.
Thank
As
you.
creators, as the type of community we are, we obsess over the things we love, and it's great that we have something to listen to when we're not able to obsess over the thing we love.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
It really does. Is
Like when we first came up with the idea for this show, like, God, what was it, like 2 years ago now? It's got to be like coming up 2 years, surely. Like, since we started doing this, it feels like we've been doing this forever. But like when we first started doing it, like I've never streamed before, so I was talking to Will about it. Like, well, how do we get an audience and everything? He's like, oh, it takes forever, like, to get an audience. The Twitch is always smothered with people and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll give it a go. And like from the get go, we've just always had people in chat to talk to, and it's just so nice to just have the Dreams community here and just like chatting with us and talking about the topics and things. It's just, yeah, it's crazy to think that 2 years ago we started this, and now we've been doing it every Friday ever since. And I love it. I can't wait to do it every Friday forever and ever. As long as Dreams continues to go on, we'll be here.
See, and I have a question. This is kind of out of left field, but when I did the submissions for the Impies, I want to know if anyone else did what I did. I didn't promote myself. Like,
What do you mean?
I put other people's names in all the fields. like, like I did it, and then I realized, like, someone was like, hey, I think it was Tap, actually. I think it was Tap who was like, yeah, you're just supposed to nominate yourself. And I'm like, oh. Like, I completely messed up the whole thing. I didn't understand it. Like, my mind couldn't get around the idea of like putting my name in everything. Like,
I did a little bit of both. Like, obviously, I'm not going to put myself in for best gameplay or whatever because I don't make games. But I don't think I know there was some confusion. Like when it first came out, some people thought that you were supposed to just like vote for yourself. Some people thought you're not supposed to vote for yourself at all. something like that. I don't think it's that complicated. I think you just put whatever you want. If it ends up being something you created because you don't know anything else, that's totally fine. Or if you just voted entirely for other people, that's also, the point of it as well.
I wonder why they did it this way this year. Like, was it? I wonder if it was just to give everybody, like, the people, like, to give more of a chance to people who don't have those things, like, or don't have.
See, I think it was to try and help with the negativity of last year, like people saying, "Oh, I never got nominated" or whatever. And like last year, everybody was tweeting like, nominate for me and stuff like that. And I think it was a way of at least trying to help with that negativity of at least you're able to put yourself forward. I don't know. It's very complicated to try and get something like this down right where it feels fair and stuff. I'm not sure that this method was the best way to do it, but again, they're testing out the waters to try and find out the best way to do it. So what do I know?
Okay, first of all, Tap Giles said they explained it in detail. Tap, get out of here with your facts and logic. All right? No, they did explain it in detail. It just did not feel right.
Yeah, it didn't register.
It just didn't. It was more like I read it, I knew what I was supposed to do, but when I looked at the form, it didn't feel like that's what I was supposed to do, and I didn't feel right doing it. So it's just like I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I want this person. And there were certain creators that I had seen their work, but I didn't know if they'd actually gotten out there, if people had actually picked up on some of the awesome stuff people are working on. So I was like, I'll throw some of those in there too. Like it was just, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't. I didn't want to do it by the rules. I think that's the.
No, it's not the Mighty Vicious way.
Yeah, it's just like, no, I have to disobey this authority. This authority, my overlords. No, I'm just like.
I think Payoff Wizard pretty much nailed it. He said that the only reason for the self-nomination is to avoid the logistical nightmare of contacting everyone to get their permission to be involved. So that would help with a lot of admin.
So yeah, and we're gonna go. I think we'll start closing shop right now.
Yeah.
I think this is good for us, but
time.
I really. Pokemanz, thank you for coming through. I love your work. I love the feel of it. I've said this about one other project in that I've seen or we've shown on this show, but I don't know how old you are, but were you around when MTV had that show Liquid Television?
Yeah, I've heard this from probably a few other people what you're about to say. I get that. I get some Rick and Morty comments every now and then.
That's my
What's it
vibe
called?
for it.
I don't watch Rick and Morty, believe it or not. So what is it though? That interdimensional cable or something? I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's just like I think it's just
that's
the way.
completely 100% what I was going into it with. So no offense taken. I 100% take that as a compliment.
Yeah, and a little bit of Robot Chicken. Have you been told that one?
Yeah,
as well.
Totally.
Yeah,
absolutely. Robot Chicken. Anything on Adult Swim between I don't know 2008 and 2016.
I think it's your dialogue that really hits that. It's the dialogue for me. It's just like it hits so many of those different types of shows. Like Rick and Morty is for me specifically because it's what I watch a lot of lately. But yeah, the work that you do is so random and just I love it. I love everything about it. It's cool. Very cool.
Topaz Mackey said, "Aren't we going to hear about multiplayer before you go?" I don't know if Topaz just got here, or
oh boy,
or if I said something that I didn't address. Ultimately, it could be. I'm all over the place, guys. I told you it's been rough. But Reddish said, "You ever been told you look a bit like Jake Horowitz, or is it Horowitz? the only Horowitz or whatever I know is an old school wrestling person, but yeah. So I'm sorry, I heard it all. I just couldn't resist. Oh,
Troll.
I was about to say, make martial laws come out after you. But look, like I said, everybody, multiplayer will be here soon enough. Okay? It'll be here soon enough. I know we're all chomping at the bit. Hell, I can't even make a game and I want multiplayer. So, so I can't even do nothing. And I want it. So, like, it'll be here soon enough. They're working on it. They've said they're working on it. If y'all remember when we had Tom on the podcast, where he was explaining that, like, when they brought up multiplayer, like, this is why this kind of, I guess, I don't want to put words in Media Molecule's mouth, but it's like they really set off a bomb when they mentioned multiplayer. But when they mentioned it, it was literally like, what do they call it? Water cooler talk? Like, it was like, they were like, yeah, we should do this. And then they were like, yeah, we should do multiplayer. And then everybody was like, when's it coming? And when is it coming out? And they're just like, oh my God. And it kind of made
done.
Yeah, it made them kind of withdraw a little bit, be like, okay, next time, now we know. Before we announce anything, we need to actually have it fully together, or it's going to create that ripple. And so, yeah, it's coming. It's coming, just along with just about everything else we want. I mean, I know people I've also heard people get mad at the Trello, like, put a date on it. Stop teasing us. Put a date on it. Don't just give us words. And I'm just like, guys. First of all,
just remember that they're human beings.
Yeah,
like, please.
just remember you're talking to just over 40 people.
Yeah,
including a journalist staff, like social media staff. Calm down. But yeah, it's just those, like, they're coming, and I mean, I have enough to work on. I've been focusing on logic lately, and trying to figure that out, because in order for me to do the things that I want to do, even film wise within Dreams, there's things that logic would just be better at setting it up to do them. And so, like, I'm focusing on that. And all I'd say that to say is not that, hey, listen to what I'm focusing on. I mean, a lot of us, if you guys don't mind me saying, a lot of us have some stuff we can work on. we all have,
in the meantime, yeah,
we all have that thing. Yeah, we all have that thing that we're not as strong in. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with my sculpting now. It took me a year to get to where I wanted to, but I'm pretty comfortable now. Now it's to the fact where I'm like, what's the best way to animate a face? Do I want to do Clev Trev gaming for the rest of my life and just have the paint strokes that that flap, or do I want to know how to actually break apart a sculpt and make a mouth, or do I want something even more simple than that? Or is there, like, there's just a lot of ways to go about it, and, like, so there's things to talk about, there's things to work on. Focus on that. Give him just give him more time.
It'll drop when it drops.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, I keep hearing this stuff. Y'all gonna get the other side. The Dreams Evangelist is gonna have a different tone. No, I'm just like, to which, when that different tone shows up, you can be like, dude, STFU, and I'll just go on about my day. But yeah, so, and also I saw Reddish Boat, who's trying to weasel his way out of coming on the show. I saw your comments talking about you moving to Cyprus, like you ain't gonna have a computer in Cyprus. All right. I don't care where you're traveling to. I don't care how many roommates you got. You gonna schedule for one of these dates. All right. I don't care if you got one of them strange setups where, like, have you ever seen? No, Will, don't go into that. Don't go into that. I was about to go off the wall. Okay. I'm gonna reel myself in because we're supposed to be ending the show. But I don't care if you got a roommate and he's always in his underwear. You better blur the background like me. You better you gonna get out here. So, I'm not moving, but I'll be back in June. But your computer's going with you, right? This is
you can
addressing my original question.
He doesn't even need a computer. He can do it on his phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just get Discord on your phone, right?
Yeah. There's no excuses.
Yeah, or
No
go
excuses.
to a PC bang, a little cafe where they got the PCs set up, and we'll do it live from there. We'll do it live from there. To spread us out to the people that probably don't understand us, probably don't want to hear from us. But anyway, I've bought a Switch. Nobody cares.
I just bought a Switch too, bro, and I'm here.
Nobody.
See, LOLPokemanz gets it. No excuses, Reddish. No excuses.
No excuses. I don't care if all you got is a TI-89. You better make it work. That's all I'm saying. So look, guys. I've had a lot of fun, and it's time to roll it up. Who's streaming? We need to send all these people out to someone who appreciate the 40 peep bang. Okay, so who's out here right now? Let's talk about this. Who's out here?
We have Chuckle Fun. We have Helioso123.
They need to work on this. Okay, every time I do this show, I click on the raid button and it brings up who's on, and it's never the Dreamers. And people are like, yeah, they're online, but I can't see them apparently while I'm in this friggin' mode. But who's on? Somebody put a name in chat. I don't have dinner to have, actually. Can't you see that your boy's been dropping? Your boy's been dropping? All right,
I'm going to drop a name for you. There you go. That's someone that's streaming.
Chuckle Fun. Okay, so let's just trigger this. Chuckle Fun. And this is, I've never heard of this Dreamer. Really? Chuckle Fun?
Yeah,
all right.
Chuckle Fun.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
totally.
Y'all tell them where the money came from. All right. I got to go in the post. I got to start getting audio so I can send it to this dude while he's sipping tea, hanging with his wife, not handling any post. Anyway, look, once again, Pokemanz, thank you. Thank you. It's great to have you. Hopefully we'll have you back for a round table sooner than later. All right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know where I'll be.
Bangarang. Then later, everybody.
See you next week.